What's going on, everyone? How's it going? We're back with another weekly watch list. This is going to be my watch list for this upcoming week in the stock market, day trading specifically, but a couple swings in there as well. Thank you so much for watching. I do have another video coming out for you guys either today, tomorrow, or Tuesday. I'm going to be finishing the video today, thumbnail, description, all that jazz, and then probably upload it by Tuesday evening. So be on the lookout for that. Something that very passionate about. It's gonna be about discipline and how it changed my life forever, just becoming a disciplined person. But more on that later. Focused on just the day trading watch list to get started. So appreciate you guys so much. Let's jump right in. Start with everyone's favorite stock, Hims and Hers Health. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, I have a leap on this stock. Obviously, we just had the crazy news Friday after the market closed. Let's see the follow up, on Monday. But yeah, 40% is no joke on a stock. So we'll see if there's this short squeeze that everyone's talking about is going to happen. As far as levels go, I would love to see it reclaim this 25 area. That was these former monthly highs and then monthly low, high and then low. So that's number one. I mean, we'll see. I mean, in order for that leap that I have to come back from the depths, it's gonna need a miracle. But yeah, I mean, we're in this monthly demand, so I wasn't gonna cut the leap unless we actually broke underneath, $11, $10 here. But that's Hims. Let's get into the watch list. Let's take it down to the 15-minute time frame. Let's go over to the indexes first. S&P. All right, beautiful rejection of the PDL on Friday. That was my play. It was awesome. Only half size since it was a reversal, but as you can see, it respected it the entire day on the 15-minute. That was awesome. So I caught this piece here of this first. I entered right after this 15-minute rejection. Stop was over the PDL. Took it down to the low here. I basically got some of my final trims off here. My last couple contracts hit break even when it pushed back up. Sucks didn't get more follow through to a lower day, but it is what it is. As far as the levels go, previous day high, previous day low, first thing to watch. Again, this pivot here, this previous day low to now previous day high will be the first area I'm watching. I'll be watching calls over that. We do have a gap up above at 681.31, so I'll be focusing on calls for the gap fill play. As far as downside goes, pretty key area here on the S&P. Every time we've come down into these lows here of this 676 to 674, this tariff high 674, it's either trapped or bounced. So now that we do have these lows here, this low, this low, this low, this December low is 669. As long as this holds, this range will hold up. So if we get underneath this PDL, my next level down is 664.45 and then 661.61. So that'll be what I'll be watching for downside. It obviously looks the same on ES as well. So underneath 67.15, we have 6,700, but below that, my next major lows are 66.75.35 and 66.46.87. Again, over previous day high, I'll be watching calls up to the next resistance zone of 68.77. 48. Jesus, forgive me. All right, let's go over to QQQ. All right, so looking at QQQ, we'll take it down to the 15-minute. Previous day high and previous day low. All right, in between we do have this pivot here, which is the September high and Friday's low. So if we get over this, I'll be watching calls up to the previous day high, and above the previous day high, my next resistance zone is up at 612.76, but we have this area up here, these former highs and Monday's highs at 609.96 up to 610.43. Just want to double check that. I want to make sure I have the gap on there as well. So yeah, we do have the gap as well here. So let me go ahead, duplicate this. Bring her on up, and the open of this candle here was 607.40. So let's go ahead and change that. So we'll be watching the gap fill play over the previous day high if we do get that as well. So, this is pretty close over the previous day high. So I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of have some sort of bull trap up here. The market has been doing that a lot recently as it's been in this range. But underneath the previous day low, my next support is down to 591.87. I will watch this pivot here, this overnight pivot here as well. I'll keep that on the chart. And usually if I have some sort of pivot like that, I'll make it a very faint line so it doesn't clog up my charts that much. All right. And then of course we'll look at NQ as well. Same look. I do have that pivot marked here as well. So I'll watch that. We do have the daily 200 though, down here at 24.532. So if that's where the market wants to go, I'll definitely be watching shorts underneath that PDL to get us there. Let's go over to Apple. All right. Got to make this white. As far as, hold up. did I just cancel that alert? I don't think I had an alert there. Nonetheless, but previous day high, previous day low. Over the previous day high, my next resistance is up at 261.56. And my next low underneath the previous day low is I have this 4-hour low at 253.64. So I'll definitely be cautious of shorts underneath the PDL. Better if we clear this first. And then underneath that is down at 252.17 to 251.58. And that comes from just some daily lows, which we bounced perfectly. This 128, 129 low. Let me show you on the chart. Okay. So this daily low right here, January 28th, January 29th, swept it here. Where did we bounce on Friday? That exact low. That's actually a really nice daily candle here. So if this wants to be some sort of like quad to triple bottom here, we'll see. But my next low underneath that is this daily low here from January 30th. And then below that, I have 251.58, which most likely comes from the 4-hour, something of that nature. We do have a daily gap down here at 248, but we'll see if that wants to hit. But that'll be Apple. We'll go to Tesla. Haven't been day trading Tesla. That's starting to look a little interesting though. Just a kind of a nice looking downtrend here. But let's see. These are major lows here, as you can see on the daily, right? This 383 to 385 area. Bounce, strong bounce, strong bounce, strong bounce. Do we get it again here? Would have to be higher time frame here. I mean, Tesla, it's a good buy down here in my opinion. All right, just for like long-term investing. Anytime you're in the 300s, I feel like. But as far as the intraday levels go, underneath the previous day low, looks like a decent amount of room down to 385.39. As far as upside, if you're watching calls over 402.44 up to 408.55, I personally won't be watching those calls, but you can. I won't be trading Tesla. Nvidia's got a pretty big previous day range, so that'll be the first area I'm watching. Maybe we make some sort of pre-market range in here when the market before the market opens, and then look to play the pre-market levels. But first resistance is previous day high. Honestly, I'm not interested in calls in Nvidia unless we get over this daily gap level, and it's an SMA cluster as well. So really over this 184.97 and 185.66, I'll be focused on calls. That's why I have an alert here. It's been a pretty major level up here as well. As far as downside goes, like the daily 200 is down here at 172, so I really don't like calls unless we're below that, but then you're shorting into 170, which has been like a really major bounce area. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just honestly, really don't like downside on Nvidia. It just feels like it gets bought up pretty easily. I like upside better over that daily gap. Just honestly not a big fan of Nvidia in general though for day trading. So AMD, I've set it now in like 4 straight watch lists, still at a pretty major spot. As far as intraday levels go, I'll watch calls over this pivot here at 194, which is a former major daily low, up to the previous day high at 226. As far as downside goes, don't like shorting into this either. Okay, like we have underneath the PDL, we have the daily 200, we have these double top former highs, which has been a spot on watch this entire time on the 4-hour. If we go to that here, 1, 2, right here, these highs here, I've already bounced it once. Underneath that is really the play I'm looking for on AMD. Like it's really I'm not really interested on the intraday time frame as much. I'm really just waiting for this higher time frame plan to work out. Downside underneath this 186.65. That's why I have an alert there. If we get underneath that and this 185.43, I'm interested. This looks like a straight shot down to the daily gap fill, and that is where I'll be looking to take a leap for sure. A short-term swing, maybe something a month to 3 months out, and then a leap. Something 6 months, something 12 months out. If we come down here and we fill this daily gap at 171, I think the whole world is watching that on AMD. All right. So still looking for that. Let's wrap it up with Google and Amazon. Google, all right, underneath 300, underneath the daily 100. So I'll be watching puts underneath the PDL, all right, which was that 1121 low. Looks like a decent amount of room down to 288.69. You can see it on the 4-hour, I believe. So yeah, really strong bounce here. So underneath like these former highs into this low here, this PDL and this 1121 low at 293.75, that looks really good to my next support down at 288 to 286 really. All right. So, and we also have this daily gap still at 278.25. So if Google wants to stay weak, I'll definitely be watching puts underneath the PDL down to 288.69 and 286. Let's go ahead and move that up. As far as upside goes, there's a little bit of room over the PDH here up to the daily 100 and 303. So I would watch that, but ideally I prefer it over 305. And then Amazon, awesome move this past week on the daily, came up and did that daily gap fill. Everyone was watching that. added leaps after that earnings move. So they're not a leap, actually, long-term, like a 6-month swing. So there was January or February when I bought the option. And I bought a June. I do have two, actually. I'm sorry. I do have a leap. I have a June expiration. Okay. And then I have a June expiration of 2027. So June of this year and then June of 2027. So both of them are up nicely, which is great. But my first target kind of sort of was the daily gap here, right? At 220, which we did reject, which you are rejecting right now. But I really wanted the daily 200 or the daily gap close. So the close of this candle up at 222. That's where I was looking to sell the June expiration. Now, we are rejecting that daily gap. I would love to see it. This is going to be interesting this week. These former highs right here, daily high, daily high, daily high, daily high. That looks like a great retest spot long. Same thing on the 4 hour. These daily highs here, as I have it written right here at 210. So as far as day trading goes, not really interested in puts underneath the previous day low. Not a ton of space. I mean, I guess here, a couple dollars down to this daily gap. I feel like if we bounce early, that could be a nice short trap. But, I mean, as far as like selling those swings, I want to see us hit that daily close of the daily 200. All right, the daily gap close. So definitely an interesting spot to watch on Amazon. We could get a nice retest long here. All right, so that'll wrap it up, I believe. I believe went over everything. Have a couple other swings in the works. NBIS still going on that leap. All right, just really back and forth. It just needs to get over this like 104, up here. This 107, actually, 104 to 107. First target really would be this 118 if we can get it this daily high. But again, we're just doing some channel things in here. Honestly, this probably needs to be adjusted a little bit here now. There we go. Look how pretty that is. So we'll see what happens there. Oscar, so good. Oscar bought here after this daily candle confirmed and this demand. Have been riding this entire move up. I believe at the end of the day here on the 4th, this leap was like 35, 40%. Obviously, it's a leap for next January, looking for more than that. So first target really is this 1827. So it's been awesome, though. Really, really nice. All right, if we look at the weekly, that's a nice weekly candle. I'm not worried about it as much. This is more of a higher time frame thing. Like looking at the monthly here, beautiful monthly candle. So we'll see where March ends. I wonder if HIMS might affect that, though, just because it's in the same industry. And then lastly is Oklo, pissing me off. This was not a swing on options. This was shares. So we had this beautiful daily demand here. This weekly highs, actually, I go to the weekly. Weekly highs, retested it on the daily. We started to get a couple bounces out of here. Very simple trade, right? Daily demand, former weekly highs. I took a handful of shares, got a little bit of a move up. I really wanted to, I was looking for like 20%, honestly, and it's not really working out. We just got a daily close under this, so it's not ideal. I'm keeping my stop on that, this 49.74, these daily lows here. Very simple. That's it. So we'll see if it can reclaim, because sometimes this happens. I'm giving it a chance to reclaim. If we get a consecutive another daily close under or a third, I'll probably cut the position. Again, it's just a handful of shares. I think it's like 8 to 10 shares. Nothing crazy. All right. So that's all. So that's going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. All right, if you did enjoy, please consider dropping a like, comment, subscribing to the channel. It would mean the absolute world to me. Hope you have a great week inside and outside the market, and I'll see you all in the next video and the next watch list. Peace.